This is a long-form yoga practice for your menstrual phase. This is our low hormone physiology phase where we get back to our baseline, and maybe you're still kind of waiting for your energy levels to return, but you're ready to take on a bit of movement through yoga. This is part of our elemental medicine series where we are embodying the different energetic qualities of the various elements during the phases when they are most balancing. So in today's practice, we are cultivating the qualities of water. It's smooth, it's flowing, creative, spontaneous. Water is a strong force, but it has a feminine quality to it. It's associated with the womb center, the second chakra, and it's that feminine power where we're not pushing through obstacles, but instead water carves its own path around the obstacles. It has this creative energy that comes with a lot of power. And that's exactly what this practice will provide. We will build slowly. We're moving very fluidly with fluid transitions and with intention. But with that, we're building the strength in a way that is very sustainable. So it has that cooling quality of water in the presence of the heating, the challenging postures and effort. So if you're new to a yoga practice, take this at your own pace. You can always modify as needed, and I'll offer those kind of exit points throughout. But really just be present with the practice. Be present with your breath. Allow your mind and body to connect here at this low hormone phase where there's a clearer channel of communication between mind and body and between left and right sides of the brain. So our creative and analytical sides are more able to kind of merge and create that sense of clarity. So really allowing some openness for that to come throughout this practice. So it is a long form practice. We'll be here from beginning to end. There's kind of the warming and cooling quality built into the practice itself. And let's get started. We'll begin today in a standing position. Start to find your balance. So shift weight forward and back in the feet from side to side. You might even close your eyes for a few moments, just surveying the inner landscape to kind of acknowledge how you are arriving to this practice, particularly during this tender time of our flow days. Start to connect to your breath in and out through the nose. And as you continue to locate and identify your center, just listening for any intentions that arise. So anything you'd like to create through your movement practice, through your breath. And as you're ready, with a big inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and around, stretch through the sides of the waist. And as you exhale, take your hands to your thighs. We'll enjoy several rounds of cat and cow from the standing position. So with an inhale, soften the belly, shine the sitting bones back, send the gaze skyward. And as you exhale, curl the tail under, draw the belly in, round the upper back, chin to chest. Again, inhale, soften the belly, shine the sitting bones back, send your gaze skyward. And then from the tail, round in, coil the belly, press through the upper back, chin to chest. From the tailbone, start to shine the sitting bones back. Inhale, soften the belly, stretch the heart out and up. And last time, exhale. Rounding the spine, draw the chin in. Come back to a neutral spine, and with your inhale, once again, sweep the arms up and overhead. From here, take your right hand to your right side waist. Left arm stretches up and over. Root down evenly through both feet, both sides of the waist lengthening. Come up through center, inhale. Exhale to the other side. Left hand to left hip, right arm up and over. So really rooting down through that right foot to create length along the right side. As you inhale, come up through center. This time, take your right arm under, left arm over. So create this flow in the arms, this circular pattern. Come up through center, inhale. Same thing on the other side. Press the left hand away, stretch your right arm up and over. One more time in this way, inhale and exhale. Feel that circular motion. We're embodying the water element here today. Inhale and exhale. So feel that flow through your breath, through your limbs. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, bring your hands out to T. Press the palms into each other. You can bring your feet a little bit closer, so hips width distance apart, outer edges of the feet parallel. I'll demonstrate this from the side here with a big inhale breath. Lengthen the sides of the waist, and then as you exhale, take your left arm out to the side. Keep your hips square to the front. Reach your left arm back as far as it will go. See if you can square the shoulders to the long edge of your mat, and the hips stay facing forward. Notice the strength that is required to create this rotation. Soften shoulders away from the ears. Big breath. Exhale, twist a little deeper, and come back through center. Palms connect, and as you exhale, twist to the other side. So the right arm extends back behind you. Square the hips to the front. Notice how upper and lower body move independently. Reach the fingertips in opposite directions. Last big breath. And come back through center. From here, I'll turn to face you. Keep the palms as they are. Press them together to create kind of an anchor point, this fixed point in the center. And then lift up onto your toes. Turn your toes to the right, your hips to the left, and begin to twist now in the lower body. So feel the difference now. The lower body moving independently, twisting, rotating, creating that fluid nature, that fluid rotational quality in the spine. Come up onto the toes. Once again, pivot the toes in the opposite direction. Rotate the hips. Keep the upper body square. And just acknowledge the activation that is required in the belly to make the twist happen. Come back through center. Sweep the arms up and out once again. Inhale. And then we'll begin our flow. So you can find yourself at the top of the mat. As you exhale, deep bend in the knees, fold over your legs. Let the head hang heavy for a moment. On your next inhale, halfway lift your spine, stretch from crown to tail. And then with the exhale, step your feet back into plank. Stay for the inhale breath here. And with your exhale, very slowly lower all the way to the belly. Take your time. Spider the fingers off the mat, turn the elbows up. Create some support with the finger pads here. Heavy the lower body into the mat. So really from the hip points to the tops of the feet. And then in your own way, begin to rotate the shoulders up through cobra and back down. So we're moving through what my teacher likes to call spontaneous cobra. So just find waves through the spine coming up and down, maybe letting your head and neck move in their own rhythm. And just explore this spontaneous creative movement here. So swaying shoulders side to side, maybe reversing directions. All the while creating extension in the spine. Freeing the neck, so releasing any tension there. And then as you're ready, inhale, come up through cobra. And exhale, lower down. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Slowly tuck the toes under. You might choose to lift the knees or keep them grounded with your inhale plank. Exhale, downward dog. Our first downward dog of this practice. Let yourself settle in. Pedal out the feet. Can you plug the heads of the arm bones into the shoulders and then soften the belly, the ribs toward the upper thighs. Lift your shoulder blades toward your hips to create lots of space in the neck. And then let your head be a natural extension of the spine here. Press evenly through all 10 finger pads. Create that length in the spine, stretching the hip creases up and back. Don't sweat it if your heels don't quite touch down. And then as you're ready, begin to step the feet together. So we are embodying the water element here. It has a lunar quality, a very feminine quality. And in support of that, we'll start with our left side, our feminine side. So as you're ready, inhale, stretch your left leg up and back. One-legged downward dog. On the exhale, take your left knee to right shoulder. Draw the belly in. Inhale, re-extend. On your next exhale, left knee to left shoulder, left armpit. Really draw the belly in and up. Inhale, re-extend. This time as you exhale, step the left foot through between your hands. Come into your nice low lunge. So in the lunge, there's 4 key actions. The shin dials forward. The back heel presses back. Your left hip crease melts down. The right thigh floats up. It's buoyant. So you have these 4 key actions creating a foundation in this lunge. Keep your right hand planted. Inhale, spin the left arm open. Find a pulsation here. Take that arm under on the exhale, coil through the belly, and then reopen, re-extend. Find that rotation. Come through center, exhale, and inhale, open. And this next time as you exhale, come through center. Bring your left hand to the inside of the left foot. And we'll turn the back heel flat in preparation for warrior 2 legs. So the front heel bisects the back foot. Take your hands over to the right and imagine as if you were creating downward dog in the upper body. Begin to soften the chest, the heart, the belly towards the earth. Wrap the left sitting bone underneath you. Dial that left knee open. Anchor the outer edge of the back foot. Slowly start to walk the hands back in. Turn to face the long edge of your mat here and begin to bend and straighten alternate knees. So again, that sort of spontaneous flow here, circling one direction and then the other. Exploring the space of the inner thighs now, creating lots of length. So we're moving in a circular pattern again, just to create that quality of water that is fluid, that is non-linear. And then begin to turn over your right foot. Come into warrior 2 legs here. So the back outer edge anchored down, the front heel bisects that back foot. And then start to walk the hands over to the left. Once again, softening the belly, softening the heart. Notice if your right hip tends to want to pop out, can you drop it underneath your body to dial that right knee open? Walk the hands back in on your next breath. Let your right hand frame your right foot, come onto the back toes. Finding your lunge once again, those 4 movements, forward, back, down, and up. Let the left hand stay planted. Inhale, rotate the right arm open. As you exhale, take that arm under, coil through the belly, create strength. Inhale, radiate, expand, open, lengthen. Then as you exhale, bring it back to center. Last one, inhale, open. And exhale, back through center. Both hands plant down around the front foot. And then as you're ready, press through the hands to create space. Send your right leg up and back, one-legged downward dog. On the exhale, cross your body. Take your right knee to your left elbow, armpit, shoulder. Inhale, come back. Extend that right leg. Exhale, right knee to right elbow, armpit, shoulder. Inhale, reach back and through center. Just pause here. Feel the strength in the belly. And then take it back up. With that right leg extended, begin to gaze forward toward your thumbs. Start to create a back bend. Bend your right knee. Bring the heel toward the sitting bone so the knee stays closed. You're hugging the inner thighs to the midline. Keep this. Begin to arc through the upper back. And then as slowly as you can, come forward. Keep that knee extended. Lower all the way to the earth. Release both feet down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward dog. Enjoy a breath here, in through the nose. Sigh it out. Let the knees touch down. Find tabletop. Begin to walk your hands toward the top of your mat. Softening the heart, belly, chest toward the mat here, puppy pose. Or pose of the heart in Sanskrit is Anahata Asana. So it's that offering of the heart, sort of surrendering to the energy of your heart center. As you're ready, slowly coming back up, unfold to downward facing dog. We start our circle once again on the left side. Inhale, stretch your left leg up and back. Cross your body, exhale, take your left knee to right elbow. This time, turn onto the inner edge of your back foot. Touch your right hand to your heart in side plank with that bottom knee hovering. Release, right hand touches down. Inhale, send your left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to left elbow or armpit. Turn onto the outer edge of back foot. Bring your left hand to heart in side plank. Find that hover. And then release. Send your left leg into one-legged dog. And on the exhale, straight through center, step your left foot through between your hands. Keep that stable base in the lunge here. Right hand stays planted. Inhale, open the left arm. Create the rotation. Find your stability in the base. So hug the inner thighs to the midline. Coil through the belly. And we'll slowly lift up into the standing rotation. So it's just like we did in the beginning. We fix the hips to the front and we let the upper body rotate. So create that strength in the belly. Feel your core awaken here. Take your left hand to your right outer thigh. Right arm reaches up and back. So this is revolved reverse warrior. Feel the strength in your legs. From here on your next exhale, release the hands down to frame the foot. Back heel touches the earth, preparation for warrior two. So front heel aligned with the center of your back foot. Slowly rise in warrior two. So deep bend in that front knee. Stretch the legs apart. Create space across the pelvic floor. Telescope the ribs out of the hips. And then soften the hips back down. Gaze over your left fingertips. Reverse warrior here. Right arm down the right thigh. Left arm up and over. On the exhale, left forearm to thigh, right arm stretches up and over. Lengthen both sides of the waist evenly. And then we're coming up through center. Turn the toes in, heels out, reach the arms up. And I'll turn to face you here as we move together. Wrap your right arm under left for eagle arms. Create this stretch in the upper back, the back of the heart. And here, just like we did in the first round, begin to move in that spontaneous way. So alternating side to side, maybe turning the upper body as well. Just creating a sense of flow, that rhythm without boundary, without hard edges. It's fluid, it's creative. And then as you find your center, come back through. We'll turn the heels in, toes out as we lower into goddess. Release the arms to T. And we'll switch sides, so left arm under for eagle arms. Here, begin to lift your right heel off the mat and lower it down. Find deeper range in the squat with each lift. Lift the left heel up and lower down. Lift both heels and soften down, stretching the upper back. And then slowly we unfold to star pose. So I'll turn once again so that I join you. Reaching the arms out. This time turn your right toes to the short edge of your mat. Bend into that right knee. Find warrior two on the right side. So again, lengthen the right inner knee to left shoulder. Create space between those 2 points. Gaze over your right fingertips. Can you sense when your arms are in that horizontal plane, when they're level? Notice here again, the upper body can rotate independent of the legs. Big breath in. As you exhale, reverse warrior. So the left arm down the left thigh, right arm reaches up and back. Big breath in. Exhale, extended side angle. The right forearm comes to thigh, left arm reaches overhead. Deepen here. Come back through warrior two on your inhale. And as you exhale, hands touch down to frame the right foot. Find your lunge once again. And as you inhale, left arm stays planted, right arm spins open. Notice if your hips tend to go along for the ride. Can you drop that right hip crease down? Keep them level. That'll help as we move into the next posture. Squeeze the inner thighs to the midline. Slowly lift up. Find that rotation. Reach your right arms, your right fingertips behind you. Coil through the belly. Wrap it around the axis of the spine. Stretch back through your back heel. Hug the inner thighs to center. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Take your hands down to frame your front foot. Press down so much into the ground you create space to lift the right leg up and back. On your exhale, cross your body, right knee to left elbow. Turn onto the inner edge of your back foot. Touch your left hand to heart, side plank. Left hand touches down, send your right leg up and back once again. Right knee to right elbow, right armpit, come onto the outer edge of back foot. Right hand finds the heart. Find your side plank for a moment. Right hand touches down, right leg back. Through center, last time here, coil through the belly and reach it up. Coming through our scorpion dog once again. So gaze forward between your thumbs. Bend your back knee. Heel comes straight to the sitting bone so that hip doesn't pop open. And then begin to extend through the spine. So offer your heart forward. Create that back bend. Keep the elbows hugging into center. Slowly lower all the way to the earth. Release the right leg. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes, inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. Enjoy a breath here, home base, inhale. And exhale. Let your knees touch down. Lower your forearms to the mat. Keep your elbows about shoulder width apart. Bring your hands to touch. You can interlace the fingers if that feels supportive, but just make sure you tuck your pinky finger under so that you have that nice flat edge on the pinky side of the hand. You can also bring the hands into prayer and just press through the pinky side of the hand here. Just like we did in puppy, soften the belly towards the thighs. Really connect the shoulder blades onto the upper back. Keep the head and neck neutral, tuck your toes, and as you're ready, lift your hips into dolphin, but with a slightly different arrangement in the arms. Notice that the head and neck are free to move, rotate them side to side, and press down through the forearms. Create that space between your body and the mat. Knees touch down. Relax into puppy for a breath or two. Stretch your arms forward. So coming into the end of our first mandala, our first circle around the mat. And now we'll initiate with the other side. So kind of that mirror image. It's the half moon cycle. We're kind of mirroring our own cycle through this practice. As you're ready, unfold, find downward facing dog once again. With the right leg this time, inhale, stretch your right leg up and back. Cross the body, take right knee to left armpit. Turn onto the inner edge of back foot. Bring your left hand to heart. And then you have the option here to hover that bottom leg out. Maybe touch the top fingertips to bottom toes. Come back through center. Right leg extends. This time, same side. Right knee to right armpit. Come onto the outer edge of that back foot. Right hand to heart. Option here. Extend that top arm, top leg. Reach for the toes. Come back through center. Pivot on the back foot. Send your right leg up and back. On your exhale, hug the knee into chest. Round in the upper back. Create space. Step your right foot through between your hands. Left hand stays planted. Inhale, right arm twists open. Gather that strength to the center, hugging thighs to the midline. And then gaze forward about a foot in front of your right foot. Stretch your left fingertips out in front of you. Begin to transfer weight from your left toes to your right foot and let that left leg lift off the mat. Focus first on the lower body. So notice if the left thigh wants to droop down, can you lift it up, create that buoyancy like we have in the lunge? Draw the hip creases back so they're level, and then begin to create the rotation. So using the belly, using that anchor point in the legs by hugging energy to the center and then rotating open. You should feel your belly alive. It's working here. And then slowly staying in the twist, let the left toes touch down. Right hand frames the right foot. Turn the back heel flat, preparation for warrior two. So again, front heel aligns with the center of the back foot. And as you're ready, rise up in warrior two. On the inhale, begin to straighten your front leg. For triangle pose, I like to heel toe the back foot in, so that might be supportive for you as well to shorten the stance just a bit. Create that energy to the center, level the hips, reach the arms out to T, and then as you exhale, stretch your right arm forward. Your hips will naturally tilt back. Bring your right hand to your shin or the thigh. Maybe you have a block, and left arm stretches overhead. Find triangle pose here. Wrap the right sitting bone under. Lengthen the right side waist equal to the left. And then here, just creating a bit of fluidity in the top arm. So sweeping it overhead and back down. Creating that circular motion. So we're kind of breaking up the masculine energy with a bit of flow. Even in these static holds, we add that quality of water, that flow element. Can be particularly soothing during the menstrual phase to help alleviate any stuck energy, any cramping. Last one here, reach the arm overhead and slowly bend into that front knee, come up through center star pose. I'll turn to face you once again. From star pose, we turn the heels in, toes out, come into your nice deep goddess squat. And then we'll alternate in our sort of extended side angle shape, but from goddess in the hips. So we take the right forearm to thigh, reach the left arm over, sweep through center, find that circular motion, and switch to the other side. So take it at your own pace. This might be a bit quicker or a bit slower. Whatever mirrors the rhythm of your breath. Again, just creating that spontaneity, that there's no fixed point at the beginning or the end. There's no fixed number that we're working through. And then as you're ready, slowly coming back up through star pose. Let the arms come to the hips so you can level the hips. Turn the left toes to face the short edge of your mat. So once again, we're kind of a shorter stance here, preparing for triangle pose. The arms come out to T. Keep the upper body lengthening, so keep the sides of the waist long. And as you exhale, stretch the left fingertips forward. Bring a hand to the shin, to the thigh, maybe even to the floor. Reach that right arm high. You can always keep the right hand to hip if that feels more supportive. Micro bend in the left knee so that you're not dumping into the knee joint, but we're activating the legs. Wrap the left sitting bone under. Press your right thigh back so we have that plane that both legs are sharing here. Then we add the flow with the arms. So right arm stretches overhead and sweep it back behind you. Again, reach. Create that fluid quality. And just notice if it creates a more sustainable place for the legs. So it's not quite as unsustainable to hold this position in the legs when we add the fluidity in the upper body, when we create that pattern interrupt that allows our consciousness to stay interested. Last one here, reach the right arm overhead. And slowly come up. Find your warrior two. Take the hands down to frame the left foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Right hand stays planted. Inhale, twist the left arm open. So we're coming out the way we came in. Gaze down in front of your left foot. Crawl your right fingertips forward. Shift weight from your right toes to your left foot. Lift that right leg back. Let it float up. Square the hips. So you can even bring your left hand to left hip to help level the pelvis. Create that stable anchor position. And then begin to rotate open. So this is revolved half moon B. Creating that dynamic strength in the legs, rotation in the spine. Requires a great deal of focus and concentration, which can be helpful during this phase. We have communication more clearly through left and right hemispheres, so using these unilateral positions can support that effort. Let the left hand touch down. Slowly lower your right toes to the earth. Press into the hands, send your left leg up and back. On your exhale, cross your body. Take your left elbow to left knee to your right elbow. Come onto the inner edge of right foot, right hand to heart. Find your side plank. Option here, if you have the space, to reach for the toes. Hover that leg, that left leg. Come back through center, touch your right hand down. Left leg extends up and back. On your exhale, left knee to left elbow, armpit coil. Come onto the outer edge of right foot. Left hand finds the heart. Again, you have the option here to extend top leg, top arm, let them meet. And back through center, left hand down. Extend the left leg up and back. Hug that left knee in as you exhale, coil through the belly, create that engagement, and then reach it back up. So scorpion dog now on the left side. Square the hips, gaze forward between your thumbs. Bend your knees, send the top of your thigh, the center of your thigh up and back. Shift the weight forward. Extend through the spine, create a back bend as if your toes could touch the crown of your head. And then slowly lower all the way to the earth. Release the left leg. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Come down, tuck your toes. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. From downward dog, let your knees touch down. And we'll lower once again onto the belly, this time for bow pose. So bow pose, lots of different options for whatever feels right in your body today. We'll start by bending the knees, flex the feet. Hug the inner thighs to the center so you create that level pelvis, that square hip position. And then just start by reaching the hands toward the knees. Stretch back through the fingertips, lengthen the heart. And then maybe at the same time, lift your knees an inch or two off the mat, as if you're trying to press the soles of your feet into the ceiling. Lift, stretch, lengthen. Slowly release. You can pillow your hands under your head, sway your hips side to side. And we'll deepen the expression here so you can stay in the unsupported version just with the arms reaching back. Or if you bend your knees and you can readily reach your ankles or the outer edges of your feet, create that clasp here. Release the forehead down so the back of the neck is relaxed. Hug your inner thighs to the midline. Big breath. And as you're ready, lift up into bow. So press feet into hands, hands into feet. Broaden across the collarbones. Lift the knees, lift the thighs. Use the glutes, engage them to activate the posterior chain. Lift the heart 1 inch higher. And release. Pillow the hands. Sway the hips side to side. We'll have one final offering of bow pose here. So you can take either of the first two options, or if you bend your knees and you can easily reach the inner edges of your feet, reach for them now. Turn the thumbs toward the big toes. Once again, soften the forehead toward the earth, relax the back of the neck, and then keep the hip points grounded with your inhale, lift up. Let your heart float up. Press your feet into your hands and then equally draw your hands back into your feet. Create that equal and opposite action that allows you to find balance. Free the neck. Let it sway side to side. Last big breath. And release. Forehead to the hands. Sway the hips side to side. We're preparing for our last wave of flow here. Let your hands come under your shoulders and in your own way, find downward dog, pressing up through plank or tabletop and coming to downward dog. So we're in our final mandala, our final half moon here. So as you're ready, inhale, stretch the right leg up and back. Cross your body, take your right knee to your left elbow. This time, keep the ball of the back foot on the mat. Extend your right leg out, take the outer edge of right foot to the mat. So square the hips, feel that stretch in the outer right leg. And then you can begin to turn onto the inner edge of the back foot. Bring your left hand to your heart. Maybe stretch it overhead for fallen triangle. So we take the twist and then we open it. We expand up and out. Let your left hand touch back down. Come onto the ball of the back foot first. And then take the right leg up and back. On your exhale, right knee to right elbow. Turn onto the outer edge of back foot. Take right hand to heart, find that hover. This time, step your right foot behind you. Come onto the ball of that foot, stay buoyant, and then lift your heart into your right hand. For wild thing here, we're turning chest and hips skyward. Maybe you extend the right arm up and overhead. Really press down through the left finger pads. Can you arc through the upper back, through the back of the heart? Create that back bend. And then slowly coming back down. Unfold, send the right leg up and back. Hug the right knee in. Step the right foot through between the hands. Shorten your stance a bit by dragging the left toes in closer to the right heel. And then let your left heel touch down. So both heels flat. Imagine the inner heels in a single line. So all 10 toes facing the same direction. On your inhale, halfway lift your spine. Try to square the hips as best you can. Wrap the inner thighs toward the midline and back in space. You're creating internal rotation in the hips. And then with that long spine, keep your left hand on the mat. Take your right hand to your heart. Rotate the heart to the right. Keep your hips square. So keep kind of iterating that process. Your hips might want to twist, but then square them. Create the twist in the upper back. Once you're there, you find stability. Lengthen the right arm for revolved triangle pose. Can you lengthen the armpits away from the hip creases? Can you lengthen the ears away from the shoulders? So much space in between the bones of the spine. On your exhale, right hand touches down. Lengthen your stance once again. Turn the back heel flat. Warrior two in the legs. Slowly rise in your own time. Warrior two. Arms to T. Big breath in. Slow breath out. From here, left hand to left hip. Stretch your right fingertips forward. Keep that length in both sides of the waist. And then reach your right fingertips toward the mat out in front of you. Shift the weight, transfer from left foot to right. Let that left leg float in space. Can you stack the hips, stack the shoulders, and gaze down the front line of your body. Make sure you can see your big toe. That means your leg isn't too far back. You still have that strong alignment. And then dial the right hip under to open the right inner thigh. Maybe you reach the left arm overhead. And here, you might choose to create a bit of flow. So maybe you bend and straighten that left leg, the right leg, whatever adds that layer of fluidity so it's not so hot. You create that cooling quality of water, even in the midst of very challenging effort. Last big breath. And as slow as you can, control the descent of that back foot. Come back through warrior two. Inhale. And star pose. Arms reach overhead. Turn the toes in, the heels slightly out. We'll reach, interlace your fingers behind you for yoga mudra. So the thumbs, the knuckles toward the earth. Notice if your low ribs are flaring, can you draw the hip points and low ribs together as you broaden across the chest? So that's two opposing actions happening simultaneously. And then as you're ready, exhale, fold forward. Keep the weight in the ball mounds of your feet. Stretch the shape of your arms up and overhead. Maybe the crown of your head reaches the mat. Really wrap the inner thighs back behind you. Release the hands as you're ready. Inhale, halfway lift. And then here, just a bit of play. So if you can, bring the forearms to the mat. Create that same shape we did in dolphin, with either the hands interlaced or the palms pressing. And just play with shifting onto the toes, maybe transferring a bit more weight into the forearms. If you're on your hands, you can even do this on the hands. Just pressing into the hands to let the legs and the feet grow light, as if you could float off the mat. Last one here, either forearms or hands. And come back. Gentle bend in the knees, hands to the hips, slowly rise up. From here, arms to T, turn your left toes out, find warrior two in the legs, bend deeply into that left knee. Lengthen both sides of the waist. Reach your left fingertips out in front of you, so keep that length as you lean forward. Touch the left toes down, right hand to right hip. Transfer the weight from your right foot to your left. Half moon B. So once again, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders, bringing the right toes just slightly forward so you can see them with your gaze. Maybe the right arm opens up. Create a bit of flow here. So maybe bending and straightening the knee, just shifting the weight, finding that sort of playful nature of the water element to smooth the hard edges, to cool the heat, cool the intensity. As you're ready, slowly lower the right toes to the mat. Right hand touches down, pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Step the right foot in a bit closer, so you're shortening your stance. Inner edges of the feet in the same line, and the big toes, all 10 toes pointing forward. Square the hips. Lengthen the spine as you straighten the left leg. Find pyramid pose here first, so that long spine, the crown and the hip creases moving in opposite directions. Can you lift the toes and really anchor the inner edges of your feet, and then wrap the inner thighs back in space? Right hand stays planted here. Left hand touches the heart. Move your heart into your hand as you keep the hips stable and square. Once you have your rotation, then maybe the left arm extends up. Feel the stretch, the sensation in the outer left leg. Keep hugging the thighs to the midline and rotating them back to level the pelvis, square the hips. And then as you're ready, left hand touches down. You can step back into your lunge, press into your hands, send your left leg up and back. On the exhale, cross your body, left knee to the right elbow, right armpit. Extend that left leg long. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Come onto the outer edge of left leg. Once again, square the hips. Feel the IT band, the outer left leg awaken. And then we'll start to turn onto the inner edge of back foot, right hand to heart. Spin the heart open. Maybe you reach the right fingertips skyward for fallen triangle. Can you press down through the points of contact with the mat to lift up? And slowly coming out. Send your left leg up and back, pivot on the back toes. And then we'll open it up. So left knee to left elbow, left armpit. Come onto the outer edge of right foot, left hand to heart. Touch your left toes down behind you. Stay on the ball of that back foot. And then rotate the heart, hips, chest, skyward. Press into your bottom arm. Draw the head of that arm bone in so that you can rotate safely. And then maybe you extend the left arm. Create that arc in the spine, that back bend in Wild Thing. Slowly return to center. Send your left leg up and back. Last time, hugging knee into chest, around the upper back, create the counter pose to the back bend. And extend here. Gaze forward between your thumbs. Bend your left knee, keep the hips square. Arc through the upper back. Send your heart forward as you slowly lower to the earth. Release the left leg. Cobra pose, inhale. And exhale. Tuck the toes. Press through plank, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Let the knees touch down. Sway the hips side to side. And we'll slowly lower for a moment in child's pose. So big toes touch, knees are nice and wide. You can pillow your hands under your forehead. Enjoy a few breaths here, just really allowing your body, your spirit to absorb the practice as we enter our closing wave here, where we'll stay mat bound to transition out of the peak energy into the rest of your day. As you're ready, coming into tabletop, take yourself to the top of your mat here, and then we'll lower onto a seat, and we'll create kind of a mermaid shape in the legs. So the knees bend, the right foot behind you, left leg in front. Let your left hand come behind you. Press into the shins, lift your hips, sweep the right arm overhead. So opening the hip flexors, the front body, creating that shape here, and slowly coming down. Keep the right shin out in front of you. We're moving toward pigeon for a few breaths. So a couple of options here. If you have a lot of tightness in the hips right now, you might choose a half pigeon variation where you keep that back knee bent in toward you and just rest here. If you are exploring full half pigeon, step the back leg behind you so the right toes turn under, and keep the toes tucked as you come into position. So we want to keep that square alignment in the hips. Another modification here would be to bring the front heel closer to your body so that you can keep the hips square, or start to move that shin more toward parallel to the short edge of your mat. Once you have the hips square, you can bring in the shoulders up over the hips. Then you can start to untuck the back toes. Just make sure that the top of the back thigh stays rotating down towards the earth. Try not to let it pop open. And then come into your pigeon variation wherever you are. Exploring the sensation with deep belly breath. So it's true that you can breathe into your hips just by nature of expanding so much into the lungs, letting the diaphragm descend far enough that it creates expansion in the hips. So here, creating that intentional breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Riding the waves of your breath and noticing the complementary nature of the sensation. So it might start off as feeling very intense, and then the wave crashes. Maybe it gets a bit more gentle. And then you find another wave comes again, that intense sensation in the hip, and it crests and falls away. And that's how we create space. It's that iterative process, that same way that the water erodes the earth. It takes lots of iteration, lots of practice. Let's enjoy one more big breath together here. And sigh it out. Slowly coming back up. Take your back leg and wrap it around in front of you. Let that leg stay straight. Left knee out to the side here. Turn your body towards the short edge of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then slowly, gently walk the hands out toward your right foot. Lengthening the spine. letting the sitting bones remain anchored, tilting the pelvis slightly forward to marry the belly to the front thigh. And then here, if you like, you can take left hand to the outer right foot. And as you press the foot into the hand, round the back just slightly so that you create that stretch in the low spine. Coming up slowly as you're ready, exchange sides. So the right knee comes out to the side, left leg extends long. Square your body over that front leg. Reach the arms up, inhale. And exhale, walk the hands out over that left leg. Anchoring the right sitting bone back and down. Tilt the pelvis slightly forward. Lift up halfway, bring your right hand to the outer left foot. Press your foot into hand and then create some traction in the spine, the low spine in particular here. As you're ready, release. Take your left knee behind you. We're coming back into that mermaid shape now on the second side. Let your right fingertips reach behind you. And as you inhale, sweep the left arm up and open as you lift onto the shins. Press the hips skyward, arc into the upper back. Gently touch down. Half pigeon now on the second side. So again, you can keep that back knee as it is in the mermaid shape. Enjoy pigeon from there. Or begin to walk the left leg back. Keep the toes tucked as you set up your alignment here. So creating that intentionality, not rushing into the pose. Turn the thigh, knee, foot down towards the mat. And then as you have that alignment set, you can begin to untuck the toes. Allow your body to soften into the pose. So half pigeon here. Again, riding the waves of breath and sensation. And noticing as you turn inward, in this sort of downward facing position with the body, what happens to your thoughts, your mind? Do they tend to rush away, to race off to a different place? Or can you keep them engaged and satisfied in the present by noticing the sensations, by not resisting them, but breathing and flowing through them, just like the water? Only when you're ready, enjoy one final big breath here. Inhale. Deep sigh, exhale. Start to press up onto your hands. Take your back knee forward. We'll enjoy one final forward bend before lowering onto the back. So heels come out in front of you. Keep a generous bend in the knees. Reach the arms up and overhead. And then tilt the pelvis forward as you fold. Reach for the balls of your feet or outer edges of your feet. You can stay with the knees bent, or if it feels good, you might straighten the legs long for this seated forward bend. And then in your own way, nice and slowly lowering onto the back, bone by bone, bringing a hand to heart, a hand to belly. Maybe shake out your ankles. Take any final little shimmies and shakes that you need for your practice to feel complete. And then we'll be in this resting posture for a minute or two more. Let your body be heavy. You might imagine floating in a warm body of water where your entire being is supported, is fluid. And allow yourself to stay open, creating a channel for anything that needs to come through. Any signals, any messages. These flow days are an opportunity for that clarity that comes with our low hormone inner landscape. There's less interference. You might be able to hear your thoughts more clearly, to feel your emotions more clearly. The water element, very closely tied to our sacral chakra, our center of feminine energy, the womb center. So very much a focus during this phase. So can you draw upon the qualities of water to promote your healthiest flow, both literal and creative? When you're ready, begin to bend your knees, windshield wiper the knees side to side, just awakening the hips. And in your own time, rolling to one side, nice and slowly transitioning out of your resting posture, journeying in your own way up to a comfortable seat. When you arrive there, give yourself a moment or two, just as we began, to survey from the inside anything that you are experiencing. Notice now how you are exiting the practice. If there's been a shift, a change, what elements of this practice you'd like to carry with you into the rest of your day, the rest of this new cycle. And what it is that you are shedding energetically. What is it that you are leaving here, that you are offering up and letting go? Let your eyes blink open if they are closed. I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for being here, for flowing with me, and for letting your body be moved.